I'd like to start, I'd like to call to order the Munhall Borough Council meeting for July 18th, 2023. Is it John? Yes. John, could you start us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So first thing on the agenda, we're going to be swearing in our new police officers. Mayor, would you like to introduce our officers and swear them in, please?
We have two new officers. We have, I see Mark Terry and Tyler Chandler. Yes. Okay, see up the top wall there. Yeah, if you guys want to meet you in the middle here. Over there. And let's have you guys in front of the camera. I want you guys to be on camera. If you don't mind, not waiting.
Come on,
not waiting. Okay. So we're going to do Tyler first. We'll do them one by one. Raise your right hand, Tyler. Repeat after me. I,
Tyler Chandler,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully discharge the duties. That I will faithfully discharge the duties.
I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office as a member of the Borough of Munhall Police Department.
The office of Munhall Police Department.
In accordance with the Constitution
In accordance with the Constitution
of the United States.
of the United States.
The Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
The state laws of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
State laws of
The state laws of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
State law of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
The Allegheny County Charter.
Allegheny County Charter.
And by the laws of the Borough of Munhall.
And by the laws of the Borough of Munhall.
To the best of my abilities.
To the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, Tyler, yours should go real smooth. Tyler did it already, so he gets practice. So.
Don't say I, Tyler Chandler, right?
Okay. I, Mark Terry.
I, Mark Terry.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully discharge the duties.
That I will faithfully discharge the duties.
Of the office as a member of the Borough of Munhall Police Department.
As the office of a member of the Borough of Munhall Police Department.
In accordance with the Constitution.
In accordance with the Constitution.
Of the United States.
Of the United States.
The Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
And the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
The state laws of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
The state laws of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
The Allegheny County Charter.
The Allegheny County Charter.
And the bylaws of the Borough of Munhall.
And the bylaws of the Borough of Munhall.
To the best of my abilities.
To the best of my abilities.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor.
We got two new officers on. We're keeping our police department as full force as we possibly can.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
and these guys are going to be doing a good job for us.
Thank you.
They already are. Getting good reports on them already.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
So for my report, I just have a brief statement, and wanted to just talk with the people. We just got a briefing on the 4 ways to close a nuisance establishment. I asked the chief to prepare this for us because I knew that we would have a crowd here tonight. And I would like to speak about some other things, but we can talk about that next month. Not really important. I know we have people here that would like to speak about some things. So I'm just going to skip right to the chief. Now, Chief, can you go over this that you just handed out to us? Sure. What can be done about a nuisance law?
We already know. We had
Thank you.
There's 4 things that can be done. The first one, we already did it. It was make police reports and send them to the LCB. So we've been doing that. We have a stack of reports. Every time you call, regardless of what it is, we make a report. The following day, we fax it to the LCE, and we have an agent that we're dealing with. The second thing to do is when in extreme situations, that's what happened the other night. Next, you bring in the district attorney or the state attorney general. We're dealing with this district attorney's office. We have 2 DAs we're working with currently. We're trying to close the bar permanently, padlock the doors, but it's not as easy as everybody thinks it is. We're doing our best. Part of it was all the reports that we were faxing to them. The second part is what happened at that incident. And basically, we gave all the information to the DAs. There's 2 DAs working on it, and we're waiting to hear back from them what the next step is.
Did you guys know about this?
Let him speak. Please go through, I want you to go through all 4 steps, so we all know on council, so all the public knows. Let's not interrupt anyone, right?
All right, well, that was the first 2 steps.
Right.
There's another step whenever it's time for them to renew their liquor license. They don't have their liquor license right now. So this 3rd step, really we can't do anything with until they actually are issued their liquor license. Basically right now, the liquor license is in safekeeping. They can't use it, they can't sell it, and nobody can buy it. So right now they don't have a liquor license, they're not permitted to sell alcohol. They can remain open to sell food, and that's it. And then they can also have private parties, and at these private parties they can bring their own alcohol to those parties. We're monitoring them. LCE is going to be monitoring them until we hear back from the DA's office. The 4th one is the residents can vote on eliminating all bars in Munhall Borough. But that would have to be a referendum, and you would have to vote on that at the next election. I don't know how that works. That would be up to maybe the solicitor knows more, or council knows more about that.
Well, it wouldn't be limited to just this establishment. It would be borough-wide change.
Correct. That's the 4 steps. We're doing 3 of them right now.
So Chief, I've had phone calls to me asking me, can the mayor shut down the nuisance bar? And as a past mayor of Munhall, and we did have a nuisance problem, we had to follow all the steps to go through that. I'm not aware of that. Is it true or not true?
It's not true.
Thank you.
I also conferred with the solicitor on that yesterday, and he told me the same thing. The mayor cannot shut down a nuisance bar. It has to be the DA or the LCE.
Okay.
Would I like to? Sure, but
Right.
I have to follow the laws.
Right. So, I understand that everyone is certainly upset. We're all upset. We're not happy with the situation. And the police are doing what they can do. They can only do so much. They have to follow steps, procedures, and they are doing so. So we understand that the neighborhood is definitely changed after, what was it, Saturday night?
Friday night.
Friday night.
Oh, it was Saturday, 2 o'clock in the morning.
So, we certainly are concerned with the loss of life, and we're just thankful that no residents, innocent people in the neighborhood were harmed. Honestly, that's our number 1 issue is safety for the residents in the area. So, we'll go through our meeting and we'll let everyone have a chance to speak. We're not going to be monopolizing the same statements. but we understand that you all are concerned. Okay? So let's go back to the mayor's report. Mayor?
Okay, we'll have good and we'll have some bad, then we'll go to the good. First of all, mayor's report, I was down there. I got there about 3:30 in the morning. I didn't want to go down right away. The officers needed to do their job. And I want to commend our officers. They did a great job. There were 3 officers down there, and they did a great job. What I saw they did was they went above and beyond, and they did a fantastic job in protecting the citizens of this borough that lived on that street and getting everything calm in the situation down there. It got ugly. You know, it got ugly there, and it got ugly at the hospital when the victims were thrown in the back of a car in a pickup truck. And the officer there did a great job also. So I want to commend them first, and you're always sorry for the loss of life. And I'm sorry this happens in the neighborhood, but these officers and our police are doing the best they can. I'm working with them hand in hand. I'm waiting for a return call. Hopefully I get one tonight or tomorrow. I made a call with Steve Zapala himself. So I've tried to get in touch with Steve Zapala and help push this along a little bit. And the good news,
this is for you. This is an answer right now. Right now. I'm leaving because I'm going to kick me out of there. You shut me off already once.
No, I didn't shut you off.
Last time I was here, you shut me.
You are on
I don't care.
No.
This.
Okay, but a couple of things are happening in the borough, and I do want to bring those up. One is this Saturday is the community yard sales, and Munhall community yard sale. There's probably over 60 on the list right now, and there's a map that Munhall Cares. If you go on the internet, Cares as a map. I think it's that lady sharing that with the borough. Are they
It is
shared with you already?
On the borough sites, yes.
So you can also look on the borough site to see who's having these sales. You don't have to be on the list. If you decide Friday you want to be on the list, you want a yard sale, go ahead, put your stuff out. But unfortunately, you can't make the list. There has to be a deadline on when this list is done. And every Thursday, starting next Thursday, the 27th of July, we're going to have Main Street Market Nights. And we're asking the businesses to get involved in there. I know we have State Rep Gergley's going to be there. And in visiting in the meeting tonight is Zofia Latanzi. Her husband is the mayor of Clairton. And Zofia works as the district office director for Mark Gergley, and she came here tonight to see Bree do her presentation. And I think she's going to videotape it, so she can take it back to Mark. Matt. Sorry, wrong Gergley. Wrong Gergley. It happens all the time. Matt Gergley. Oh, God, I'm sorry. No, Matt, I'm sorry. And so these Main Street Market Nights are going to be the 4th Thursday of every month in July, August, and September. So come out. There's going to be bands. There's going to be music. There'll be food. The people that are doing the food will be the Main Street business people. I understand the fire hall got involved, and they're going to have bouncy house there for the children. So another outset.
No, they weren't able to get it.
They weren't able to get it. Okay, then we've got that.
They're going to try for next time.
Cancel the bouncy house. Maybe in August. Maybe they are expensive. But these 3 are probably going to be in place of our community day this year. So we're going to have 3 events that run from 5 to 9, the 4th Thursday of every month, and also the Still Valley Enterprise Zone has helped us out with this. They gave us a donation of $1,000 to go towards the entertainment, and I want to thank them also for helping out with this event. So please attend. I think it'll be very good. Give us some time on the first one. Hopefully the weather holds up and it's a good event.
So,
Mayor,
Mayor, did you say July?
July 27th. Next
July,
Thursday.
August, and September?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Solicitor's report?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Since I last reported, it's been fairly quiet on the legal front, which is typically a good thing, other than reviewing some routine matters with the manager and the police chief involving some agreements and personnel matters. Nothing of significance to report this evening. That's my report.
Thank you. The Sewer Authority, is there someone here from the Sewer Authority to make a report? Dave, you have anything to say from the Sewer Authority?
Everything's just going as planned.
Okay.
Nothing major going on.
Okay. All right, so then let's move to step 5, approve meeting minutes, April 18th council meeting and May 17th council meeting. So we need a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Kevin,
Second.
second by Mr. Youngkins. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? So the vote is unanimous. All right, so let's move on to speakers who are on the agenda. And then once we go through the speakers, then I'm going to ask for public comments on anything. It doesn't have to be for consideration. I'll open the floor up for comments if people would like to speak, and then we'll go to voting, okay? So, Steel Valley Enterprise Zone, Steel Valley Accelerator, is there anyone here from the Enterprise Zone? Please stand up and state your name.
Sure. Dan Kelly, I'm the Vice President of the Enterprise Zone. Okay. So I'll come around to turn you next. So we submitted a letter to the Munhall Borough regarding opening an office and hiring an employee that will serve the Steel Valley School District with a few different points of focus. So our organization, traditionally, we've just been loaning building and business loans to attract people to come in and invest in our community. And our jurisdiction was the 8th Avenue corridor. So 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th Avenue. That's our legacy jurisdiction. Now we've been in existence for over 20 years, and about 20 years in, we no longer fall under state oversight. So we went through a visioning exercise on our board to kind of figure out how we can best serve the community moving forward, now that the Enterprise Zone programs are no longer part of the state. And through an 18-month visioning process, we decided that we wanted to be, a centralized hub for the 3 boroughs for information, guidance, and assistance for people trying to move here or open businesses here. We wanted to continue our loan programs to provide financial easement and assistance to maintain affordability for investing in this neighborhood. And we wanted to assist in safety-focused neighborhood walkability. We wanted to attract and assist dream stakeholders, facilitate collaboration throughout the Steel Valley area, drive vibrance and positive energy, and things like supporting the Munhall Market Nights, maintain existing accessibility and diversity of the neighborhood, assist in cycling, artist communities, presence in the area, and rebranding ourselves. So our board voted so that was like our vision. So we talked about if we were to do so, we'd probably need a full-time employee. Our board decided to vote to move forward with this, and the priorities for this employee would be facilitating our building and business loan programs, identifying and applying for grants for the community, relationship management with community groups and borough governments so that they could kind of be a conduit between the 3 boroughs and the Steel Valley School District, facade improvement grant programs, supporting events, and then other special projects, as well as marketing and social media for their office and for our community for events like the Munhall Community Days, the Live Fridays down on 8th Avenue, things like that. So the letter that we sent to Munhall Council, we sent to West Homestead Council and Homestead Council is that we'd like to designate funds from the TIF bank account to be used to fund half of this office over the next 5 years. The other half of that is going to come from our Enterprise Zone bank account. So I guess I'll open that up to questions from you.
I just have a question on the different votes that were taken by the boroughs. Homestead voted to approve X amount of dollars. West Homestead voted to approve a different amount of monies. So I question that.
So Homestead, they technically voted to approve the same amount of money. Homestead amended the request to be a 5th every year, which is exactly what we were asking for anyway. So, and you'll see in the letter that we requested that the funds would be released annually. So the overall, the total amount is $246,770 over the course of 5 years. So Homestead basically said yes, but only over 5 years, and West Homestead said as requested, which are technically both the same thing.
Okay. So it's a 5-year plan? Are you going to have a storefront? Are you going to hire an employee? Or?
We're going to hire an employee. We're not going to open a storefront yet. We're going to see kind of how things go. We have several businesses that have offered to use their space if that employee needs to meet with people. And we've had commitments from West Homestead and Homestead as well that we could, have meet people at their borough offices as well. I imagine probably something similar here.
So it's 5 years. You've shown the cash flow over 5 years. 50% is from previous TIP funds and 50% is the bank account.
Correct. So 50% from the Sioux Valley Enterprise Zone bank account, 50% from the TIP bank account. And then part of the program plan is to have them be applying for foundational grants so that the office can sustain itself. So we're hoping, in the best case scenario, that we're not actually going to end up spending all of this money over the next 5 years, that we'll spend a couple years of it and then have that sustainability, and then that money will remain to be there for the building and business loan accounts. Sure.
And what's the balance of each side right now?
Roughly each is somewhere between $700,000 and $800,000. So that money is all available for loans right now. But frankly, because we don't have, we're not getting the word out the right way, and we don't have someone working full time, and that we're not getting a lot of requests. Even though the interest rate climate right now is fantastic for low interest rate loans, but people don't seem to be coming to us. And by the way, we did vote, I should say, I think it's important, we did vote to change the jurisdiction of our, where we covered, to cover the Sioux Valley School District. So all of Munhall, all of Homestead and West Homestead are all included.
Dan, what is the salary?
Yeah, so we're targeting, it's going to be, we're saying it's going to be commensurate with experience,
right.
But we're targeting somewhere around $78,000. So we want to be able to hire someone that has experience and has, can actually get the job done and not just kind of bootstrapping it and doing it on the side or whatever. We want to really exactly. And I'd like to thank Seth for helping guide me with a little bit of the way that we packaged that. There's some nuance there that could really help. So.
Any other questions, Councilman? Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Appreciate it. All right, is it Bree Francis?
I think you should know that name by now.
You're going to do the state budget?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, Bree, would you take the stage and go over the process of how a state budget is formed?
And this will actually be Bree's last meeting. She may come to the workshop next month, but August 15th is our next meeting, and that is the date that Bree is leaving for college. She told me this recently. And John, J.J. Hiddleston, will be next year's liaison to the mayor and the council from the high school.
Very nice. Bree, thank you for all your time spent here. You've been a great asset.
Thank you for letting me stay here. So, like Mayor Paul said, this is John Hiddleston. He's the new Munhall liaison to the Sioux Valley Mayor's Youth Advisory Council, which should be up and running for the 2023-24 school year. I do have people backing me now, which is amazing. So he will be at as many meetings as he can be with Mayor Pauls here, where I usually sit, keeping up to date on the district and all that kind of stuff. So, state budget-wise, I'm not going to go over how a state budget is formed. I'm just not going to bore you with that. What I do have, What I do have though is the part of the budget that matters to all of you. I'm not going to go through every single little line item. There's no point. So, a little bit of background. So, on Wednesday, July 5th, the Pennsylvania House of Representatives passed the state budget that was proposed by the Pennsylvania Senate. The current issue is that the proposed budget has not been signed by the presiding officer of the state Senate, and the next scheduled Senate session is not until September. So this is not technically signed yet. It's expected to be, just isn't yet, but the numbers will be about the same. So, first item is all manners of education funding, which is a major line item for us in Munhall, especially with Steel Valley going through the whole new elementary school planning process. So overall, there was a total basic education funding of about this is just increases, of $567.4 million, and a special education funding increase of $50 million. So in the 2023 budget, our district specifically was allotted $13,388,124 total dollars, with $11.6 million of that being basic education funding and about $8 million being special education funding. This new budget gives our district a total of $14.3 million, with 12.4 of that being basic education and 1.9 of that being special education. This is almost $900,000 more than last year for our district, which is great, also especially considering just the elementary school thing. $46 million has been allotted for universal free breakfast across the state. And now all students receiving reduced price lunches will receive free lunch. There was a $14 million or 13.3% increase to career and technical education funding, which, as a lot of you know, we have Steel Center in Steel Valley, which is an amazing opportunity, so that'll help us there. And $100 million of federal American Rescue Plan state fiscal recovery funds will be redirected from general mental health services to school mental health grants, which is great because pandemic, a lot of us struggled, so the fact that it's being addressed is really nice. There is also a student teacher stipend, which is new this year, to support college students who are doing their student teaching, which is great because they don't get it. So, when that is $10 million. And speaking of college students, higher education funding. So unfortunately, an increase of funding to Pitt, Penn State, and Temple was not approved by the Senate, but there were multiple other increases that were approved by both parts of the legislature. There was a $33.1 million increase to state-funded higher education, and there was a $65.4 million supplemental appropriation for the facilities transition for Penn West, considering all their debt challenges, which if you don't know what Penn West is, I know Clarion's in there, and there are two other CalU, and there's another one I can't remember off the top of my head, so apologies. But they're all combining into one, into Penn West, so that's addressing their debt challenges. The Thaddeus Stevens College of Technology received a 2% funding increase, and there was a $15.9 million increase to FEO, which is the Pennsylvania Higher Education Assistance Agency. So that helps with grants and stuff for students, which is great. And a new program called Parent Pathways was created with $1.66 million to support students who are parents at post-secondary institutions. So it's a lot easier to go back and get your degree now. And education funding in general, including a variety of things like recovery schools, the state library, teacher professional development, state school initiatives, and community colleges, there's a total of $20.8 billion, including an 11.7% increase from last year. That's all education. Next is other general agencies. The ones I included are just kind of the ones that affect us the most or that I've heard people talk about here. Like I said, I didn't include everything. The budget is really long. If you have any questions, please come talk to me about it. I know way too much for my own good. So, seriously, if you have any questions, come ask me. Human Services saw a ton of increases, including physical and mental health programs with a total increase of $802 million. Long-term care programs with a total increase of $966 million, my bad. And intellectual disability programs with a total increase of $488 million. Conservation and natural resources saw a total increase of $76.77 million between general government operations, state park operations, state forest operations, and state parks and infrastructure projects. Agriculture saw a total increase of $10.1 million, including $2 million for the Fresh Food Financing Initiative. In terms of transportation, there was a $150 million increase to highway and safety improvements. Yay, Pennsylvania roads. $73.4 million increase to highway maintenance. You should all be cheering about that because that is more funding for the highways, which if you're not cheering about that, I can guarantee you that it's the pothole by Century 3 that has made you audibly apologize to your car. So be thankful for more funding for transportation. Health promotion and disease prevention, which was not included in last year's budget, was allocated $2.3 million, along with increases for a total increase of $12.6 million for other health services. Our state police force will have $127.6 million more in funding, including $13 million more for patrol vehicles, which is a 100% increase. The Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency was allocated $54.2 million more for general government operations, state funds for violence intervention and prevention grants, and indigent defense, which is the, I don't know if I said that right, which is the government-funded representation of defendants unable to afford private attorneys. I put that in there because I haven't Googled what that was, and I feel like half the people in the room would do it. For changes in military and veterans affairs, there is a $9.7 million increase to state veterans homes and a $3.4 million increase to general government operations. And there are 5 new line items for community and economic development, including $20 million for historically disadvantaged business assistance, $3 million for foundations and industry, $50 million for hospital and health system emergency relief, $50 million for the whole home repairs program, which I was specifically told to say this. If you're on that, if you did not make that list for this year, trust me, the House of Representatives is trying to keep funding that as long as humanly possible, so definitely apply for that. And $2.5 million for America 250 PA, which is the celebration of our nation's 250th birthday, which will be in 2026. And there was also a $3 million increase to apprenticeship training, which will directly benefit Steel Valley, considering how many students we have go to Steel Center for Trades. And after speaking with our state representative, Matthew Bergley, about the budget this morning, he said he is most proud of the violence prevention increases and the public education funding because of how they both impact our district so heavily. And like I said, if anyone has any questions about the state budget, whether I directly addressed it or not tonight, come see me after the meeting. I will give you as many answers as I can. If I can give you an answer, I will take your name and phone number and call you with an answer tomorrow. That is all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Also, council, if you would like copies of this report, I can have them to you by next week.
Could we have a detailed report on that? On the budget itself? Line item by line?
I do, actually. I do. Yes, I do.
I'm just teasing you.
I do.
You are an exceptional person.
If that's done the set, then please can copy that.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. Are your parents here tonight?
My mom was at work and my son does a truck driver, so he is who knows where right now.
Well, they should be very proud of you.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you again. So I'm going to open up for public comments. Anyone would like to speak? I will take your questions and we'll try to give you some answers, and then we'll move on to comments on items for consideration. If you have a comment on items for consideration, you can ask that at this time as well. So I'll open it. Go ahead, ma'am. Give us your name and we'll be next.
My name is Haley Cherub. I actually live right across the street from Jay's Juke Joint at 1126. This is regarding, I'll just pass out all of these copies here. You can pass them out, I apologize.
We already have them.
Okay.
We have is it your dad?
Neighbor.
Your neighbor?
So in regards to speaking about how the bar can have liquor and bring their own alcoholic beverages, the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board basically says that there is nothing that prohibits them from bringing their own, but that does say to check if there are local ordinances regarding bring your own bottle establishments and if there's any ordinances in effect already. No. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. We've been calling since January. The biggest thing was, of course, what happened on Friday. It was a tragedy. The sadder fact is that everybody in the neighborhood has been saying for months that something like this was going to happen. On top of that, after the whole investigation was over, the victim who sadly passed away, his blood was left on the street until I had to call at 9:30 in the morning. In which then Munhall had to call me back and I had to describe exactly where it was and was told that they didn't know if EMT handled it or fire. So it was very traumatic, just to say the least. The only comment that I'm really gonna make is that everybody in this neighborhood deserves to be able to go to sleep at a reasonable time. You shouldn't have to wait up because people that come to this bar don't come until almost midnight. None of us should have to wait up weekday or weekend to sit there and hope that nothing bad happens, that nothing happens to our house, that nothing happens to our neighbors, that we are able to go into our home safely. And currently, I just don't feel that is the case. And on top of that, I now have a balloon right out front of my house as a memorial that says 600 gang, RIP Shuka. So I know there's a memorial going on tonight. I was wondering if there was going to be police presence in the area to some extent, or what could possibly happen to them.
Yeah, they're on routine patrol, and be in the area if anything happens.
What was your name? What was your name again?
Haley Farrell.
Haley?
Yeah, Haylee.
Thank you for speaking. Anyone else? Ma'am?
I'm handicapped, so I'm going to read a letter to the editor.
What was your name, ma'am?
Ravine Matthews, and that's Matthews with 1 T. On February 20th, a resident of St. Therese Senior Residence was returning home after work. She got off the PRT bus at the corner of Marion and Main Street. The bus continued on its way, and the car behind it waved her across the street. However, the driver in the automobile behind that one was impatient and went around the first car and struck her. He didn't stop. Needless to say, the victim was seriously injured and ended up in the hospital. She now needs surgery on her face and her back, and is very lucky she wasn't killed. And that's because she had a backpack on that prevented her from dying. None of this made the news. If there had been a stoplight on that corner, this might not have happened. A petition is being circulated, and I have that petition. To be around the area to have a stoplight installed on that corner. Many of the residents of St. Therese Court are disabled. They use canes, walkers, rollators, and wheelchairs, and some are visually impaired. Besides the senior residents, there are 2 schools there, Steel Valley and St. Therese. The school crossing guard is only there during school hours and not on weekends or after school activities or in the summertime. The police have offered to install an electronic speed tracking device because of the heavy traffic in this area. Unfortunately, I doubt that will deter speeders. There aren't any consequences with this type of equipment, i.e. tickets, fines, or jail time. If Munhall can't afford a stoplight, then how about speed bumps? They are about $2,000 a piece. I know a stoplight costs between $500,000 and $600,000, but speed bumps will stop people or slow them down so that this won't happen again. I mean, I'm afraid to cross the street. I want to shop Main Street, but I'm afraid to cross the freaking street because if I use a cane and I walk slow, and if I get hit, I could die. Then I don't want to. I'm not willing to die yet. And this shouldn't have happened to Joanne either. But if you want the petition, I have the names.
I certainly thank you for coming. I was not aware that this incident even happened.
And they never made the news. And I've heard that they're building another school behind Steel Valley. That'll be 3 schools in that area.
Well,
and that several accidents have occurred there and several people have died.
and I believe there is a crosswalk painted right on the street right there. So
And they don't obey.
They have no consideration of that at all.
Exactly.
What time of night did this happen?
It was probably around 7:30, 8 o'clock. She works down at the theater. Well, she did work. Now she can't.
So it was daylight.
It was daylight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you for listening.
Raylene, thank you for coming. Anyone else?
Rich, remember? In the early 90s, there was an incident there. A man coming out of St. Therese Church after a 7 o'clock mass. And for years, there was a pedestrian crossing flashing sign there. In the early 90s. It was there for quite a few years because Ray Bogner was instrumental in having it installed. And somewhere along the line, it went away. It was right before you come up the grade of the hill.
It's still there. It's further down. There is a flashing light there, I believe. Isn't there, Chief?
That's what the other, I think that's.
Now, that's the school zone.
Yeah.
This was pedestrian crossing banner that used to hang over the road. It was there for quite some time because there was a train, the man was killed there coming out of St. Therese. I'm thinking about 93, 94. So there was something there at one time.
Okay.
Mr. President, I'm here. My name is Drew Borsick, Longfellow Drive, Munhall. I came here on a happy note. I came to praise one of your employees here in the borough. Early June, my car was hit and run one Sunday evening into Monday morning. Police officer came, took the report and such. The following day, my neighbor called me while I was at work and told me that the car was in the same neighborhood. I called Officer Caterino, Assistant Chief, and he, through his diligence by doing some old-fashioned police work, was able to apprehend the actor and didn't cost me the monies that would have cost me to have my vehicle fixed. I just wanted to come here tonight and say thank you, Officer Caterino. You're very fortunate to have him as an officer and part of your command staff.
Thank you very much, Mr. Borsick. Anyone else? Ma'am?
Yeah, when my car got hit there, it cost me $500 out of my pocket to fix it. The damage was $2,000.
What was your name?
Stand to them. I live right next to their, I'm adjacent to their parking lot. My driveway, so I don't know.
Thank you.
This happened a few months back, that this guy ran into my car in a crazy lunatic. He almost hit another car as he was leaving. He didn't have to do it. The whole point is, that's not the point. It cost me $500, and I'm hoping that's all this car will cost me. It's $500. You understand? Routine, I think you should throw a patrol out there tonight and leave it out there. I'm telling you right now, I'm feeling very uneasy about it. So, routine doesn't sound good to me. Just let me know. Okay? Hey. I'm being nice. I'm trying to be nice.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. What's your name?
Deborah Krishka. I live next door to Jay's Juke Joint, and it's been very nerve-wracking living there since December. I've been there for 40 years, never a problem till December 22. It's every night of the week they're open. They don't come in till the wee hours of the night. They come in to party very late. And not only myself being nervous to the core, my dog is also. And I'm sure that the neighbors' dogs are the same also. Now they're there for protection. And I feel lucky that I have that because my dog will probably rip your face off if you violate my space. However, he doesn't, or she doesn't work as fast as a bullet. You know
that.
And, the other night was just totally awful. I've been thinking about selling my house, and I think, who's going to buy my house next to a nuisance bar? I can't leave it empty because, it's not gonna, it'll be damaged, I'm sure. On the other side of the bar, it was empty, the house. The people that own the bar are living in there because it's a rental place. The house beside that was empty because these people moved out because they can't stand the carrying on. An employee works over there. So, I don't know what the answer is to it all, but I do know that I'm afraid for my life living there.
I understand completely, and honestly, I want every one of you to know that the chief is working on this. We are diligently working at it, and they are going to shut this place down because it's not wanted, it's unsafe. Obviously, you fear for your life, and I don't blame you on that.
Even for a restaurant, because, if they could bring their own alcohol, it'll be worse yet.
It will
be worse yet.
Honestly, it's not acceptable. So we understand your position, You're not alone, that's all I can say.
The last meeting that I came to, I talked about a fella that was hiding a bag between, on my property. And so I planted a jagger bush there. So, that he could come anywhere on the property and do whatever. He could hide something under my car, but that was a deterrent. And I glued Gabion rock on my wall so they don't make themselves comfortable.
I've seen it.
However, they still do it, and guess what? All on the bar side, those rocks are loosened because they pried them away from the concrete. So the other fear is that they will use those rocks
To throw at you, or your
Yes.
building, or your car, or anything.
Right.
I understand.
So,
Believe me, I do. And it's not only that bar. If they don't go to that bar, they go to the next bar, to another bar. It's a traveling circus, believe me. They come to the old place on Homestead Duquesne Road, right across from my business. My son lives in that building. They're there in the middle of the night. They've broken into his car. It's a mess, and it's not just that area. It's this whole group. I don't understand it, so I'm going to put.
who are the group? The 600?
I have no idea who they are, honestly.
Gang.
So I empathize with you, and the police are doing everything they can do. They are. So go ahead, ma'am. I'm sorry.
I just had a question.
Are you done, ma'am? Thank you.
Did you get to see the video that my daughter sent me at 3:30 in the morning?
I saw a portion of the video.
You want to see the whole video?
Not right now. I'll see you later.
The frame matter that she sent me at 3:30 in the morning, that I feel safe that she's living in my house.
I understand. I'm
Been routine
concerned.
police present, growing up in a police family. I guarantee there's going to be more police presence up on Main Street for the days that there's the market than there's going to be for a memorial service with a gang down on Ravine.
Well,
So it makes me wonder if I want to send my daughter.
I think you're concerned, and I understand that. And I think that you have to realize the police can't be everywhere, and they do have a presence there. They have been, and if you were at the last meeting, I asked the chief, make a stronger presence down there, and I know they're doing that. They are doing that.
They do a great job, but my thing is with tonight, a routine presence, I don't think is enough for the community down there. I no longer live down there, but my daughter does. My daughter
I understand. My son lives right across.
Call an extra duty out to come out early.
They do an amazing job. I have nothing against Munhall, they've done nothing
So
but
if you can
great.
get an extra duty to come out, okay?
But someone needs to be able to approve extra patrols, knowing that this can be done. They're advertising that there's a memorial going on. Anyone who knows, who's grown up in the area knows that when you have a gang memorial, that's a perfect sitting duck for the other gangs to come in.
This is a scary situation, you're right.
For retaliation.
And it's nothing against the police officers are incredible.
No, we
It's
have great
nothing against
officers,
you
but I'm
guys,
gonna try to get us an extra duty out.
but
I'm asking the chief to make it.
And that's why I'm here this evening. I had other things to do, but I'm here tonight because I thought, where is it better to be? Here at this council meeting or at home?
It seems minute, but we all have to go home to that area tonight, and we all have to go home and wonder if something's gonna happen.
Okay.
I don't know what time they're supposed to be there.
We empathize with you. We understand. I understand completely. And the chief is going to go probably make a phone call right now.
No, this is the chief.
Yeah, I call him both.
Okay.
So, anyone else? Anyone else like to speak?
Can I say one more thing? Do I have to stand up?
No, you don't. You go right ahead.
I do plan to go to the news media with this. And Channel 4 has WTAE listens, and I've heard Channel 2 has something similar. And if I have to, do I have to start a GoFundMe page to get speed bumps?
You can certainly do that if you like.
Do I have to? Will they be installed?
Well, I don't know. That's not my decision.
Yeah.
I have to see. I'm not sure the whole thing about speed bumps.
We have to.
We've talked about it, and we've wanted speed bumps elsewhere through the borough. I'm not sure the ramifications.
The city of Pittsburgh has them in front of all the schools.
I know they do. And I don't know the cost. You said $2,000. I have no idea what the cost is.
You can buy them on Amazon. I said.
Thank you. We'll look into it. Anyone else?
I want to say something about the cars on Main Street, because I rode the bus for 47 years. And the bus would stop to let people off, and when people were going to cross the street, they knew who was crossing the street, they'd let them cross in front of them. Because that's 2 lanes. The people behind them are not supposed to pass the bus. I can't even tell you how many times. Cars wouldn't wait until the bus went. They went around them, and how many times people almost died.
Honestly, I'm not going to make this statement, but I'm going to make this statement. The drivers today are inconsiderate of people. They just don't have any consideration. I've been passed on the right, on the left. It doesn't matter. They just go around. They don't care. You really have to be careful today. Honestly, whether you're walking, whether you're driving a vehicle, it doesn't matter. It's a different world today. I mean, they drive up and down so fast, and no consideration.
Don't do the speed limit.
I purposely tell my men, drive like an old man and just make sure you get there.
Oh, it's the old men you got to worry about. I've ridden in some of those cars.
No, you guys up there,
They don't care. They just don't care anymore. They say, oh, yeah.
Okay, anyone else? Because we're going to move on to the voting session. Okay, thank you.
My wife said the same thing.
So,
I ran with the access drivers, believe me.
So we're going to go for items for consideration in section 8, and that is going to be a ratification of all the phone votes that we had. So items 1A through H, I believe, will be all one vote. Is that how we're going to do this? So I need a motion for ratification of 1 through H votes. Motion by Mr. Youngkin, second by Mr. Ondo. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? There's no nays. So all of those are approved. Okay, motion number 2, motion to pay the bills for June 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2023. I need a motion.
Motion.
By Kevin. Second by Mr. Ondo, Mr. Youngkins. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Passes unanimously. Number 3, motion to approve payroll for the period ending June 23 to June 17, 2023. All in favor? Or I need a motion, I'm sorry.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Stein.
Second.
Second by Mr. Vodadian. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's a unanimous vote. Motion to approve Robinson Pipe as the lowest qualified bidder for the Main Street Sewer Project as recommended by the borough engineer. Any questions on the motion? All in favor? I need a motion, I'm sorry.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Ondo. Any second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Stein. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. And Seth, this is for the grant that's going to be done work on Main Street?
Right. Phase 1 will be the exploratory camera work, and the repair will be done as necessary and as financially allowed.
Okay. That's what I thought. Motion number 5. Motion to approve the proposal of the borough engineer perform a roads evaluation and development of paving program at a cost not to exceed $35,000. I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Bodadian. Second by Mr. Ondo. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. Motion number 6, to approve the proposal of the borough engineer to perform a traffic calming study on Ravine Street at a cost not to exceed $8,000. What is a calming study?
That was, what they do is they'll do a traffic count as well as some other analysis to make a recommendation based on request by council due to high traffic volume, potentially high speeds, on dangerous situations. The recommendation will either be that nothing needs to be done or that we ask the state for permission to put in some type of traffic calming, which is any type of traffic signal, sign, speed hump, speed bump, anything that would serve to slow traffic. We do need state permission to do that on any municipal road.
Thank you for that information. I need a motion. Motion. Motion by Mr. Youngkins.
Second.
Second by Mr. Ronda. All in favor? Aye. The motion is unanimous. Motion to approve the purchase of round tables and lockable storage cabinet for the community room not to exceed $1,500. Motion by Mr. Ronda.
Second.
Second by Mr. Hannah. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Any other public comments? All right, let's move on to additional items. No parking on West Street by Best of the Batch Foundation is something that's on my list here. I think we're going to talk about this a little bit further in the future. My concern is exactly what this woman was saying, the crosswalk. There's a crosswalk there now. And you even saw me on West Street this week and said, yeah. And we'll talk this out further, but I think we need to have some safety things put in place right there as well. Request by Munhall Volunteer Fire Department to release annual truck fund donation.
That's an annual amount that the council appropriates as part of the budget process, but as it is generally a larger amount, in this case usually this year $65,000, they place an annual request for us to release it pending funding availability.
It's funds from Munhall to go to the fire.
And we do have a cash flow to allow that, and that's why it's already budgeted and approved as part of that. So it's not something that even needs to be voted on. Right. It's just a motion. It's just a courtesy that we're talking about. Okay. All right. So I'd like to just end by thanking everyone who's came here tonight, and so thank you for all coming. We do appreciate you coming, the citizens. We invite everyone to please come and have input. So go ahead, Mr. Hannah.
One of the residents gave a little bit of some Munhall community page text information. So she handed a BYOB thing, and I would like to ask the solicitor to investigate what it would take Munhall Borough to create a local ordinance to restrict bring your own water.
Seth and I have already talked about that earlier on in this meeting. I know from many years ago it's come up. I know there's some state regulation of bottle clubs, which is what that would constitute. I'm going to look into that and refresh my memory on what the state law provides. And Seth already checked as the chief to confirm we don't have any local regulation on that. So that is something we're going to investigate and explore.
I mean, that would be a deterrent to the type of behavior that may continue, especially after the owner, and I'm not sure which day this is from in the context of it, but they are saying that they will be served, people bring alcohol. Tom, that's true?
She can have a private party, they just can't bring it in, when she's open. They have to have a private party, and they can bring it in for that private party.
Is there any limitation to the borough has, or as far as an ordinance, for a business like that, the hours of operation?
That I'm not aware of, I'll have to look into it.
Is that something the solicitor also could look into? If we're trying to change behavior, we should use local ordinances themselves if they're applicable to change that behavior itself. And that's certainly within the purview of the Munhall Borough.
I'm sure all avenues will be looked at.
Just curious, for the solicitor, as you're looking at this, perhaps, passing an ordinance where you had to get a, nominal fee for a permit to have a BYOB, so that, someone comes in and pays $25, it's approved by council, that way you can kind of control the BYOB.
But how do you,
so you don't have
how do you not approve it?
What's that?
How do you not approve it?
Well, it could be up to the council to approve it or not.
They need to have a permit for each party that they're going to have.
Or just for the establishment, right? So you can pull their permit and, it's a way that you can control that through an ordinance versus, just outlawing all BYOB in the borough.
Yeah, that kind of goes along with how the county, you rent the groves in South Park, and if you want to have alcohol, you have to buy a permit for each.
Correct.
One of the scary things to me is, what if every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night there's a private party, and we don't even know, what's going on or who's coming in, who's coming out? It could be the same crowd.
Like when an incident like this happens, does the DA kind of speed up that process?
Yeah, they're speeding it up now.
So it could be, it has like a viewpoint anyway.
So council, what I might suggest, what we ought to do is have our solicitor look into this and go over pretty thoroughly. And if we have to do an emergency vote, we can make an emergency vote on an ordinance. Are we allowed to do that?
We have to set a special meeting, we have to be advertised first as well.
We are allowed to do that?
You can set a special meeting, but we have to advertise it first.
Right.
And we can approve it by special meeting. But this will take some research. I want to determine, and I know Seth is looking into this as well, how and what can we limit? Can we outright prohibit it? Or is it a zoning issue? Must it be permitted in certain zones? Can we not exclude it borough-wide? There are a lot of questions running through my mind listening to this discussion. I want to explore all these options and what rates we have as a municipality. I'll report back on that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, you can check with the Borough of Homestead with their ordinance officer, Dan Hankins. The borough does have that type of ordinance, and it has permits for everything else that it allows, even for the rentals of its park. That way they know who is there and how they can control it.
Right. Exactly.
Chief, didn't we have the same issue with the bar that was down here, the old Hungarian?
Yes, they did the same thing. They have private parties and they were bringing their own alcohol.
Honestly, we are going to look into it as thoroughly as we can. Honestly, that is in the works already. Anything else? Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I think I don't know. The parking lot in the old Borough building,
yes.
The one down by Batches.
Yes.
Those people, I mean, they park here whenever whoever wants to. Is it possible or is it feasible to make that permit parking?
We could do whatever we wanted. My feeling has been, right at this point, we're not really using the building per se for anything, so why restrict it for someone? I mean, we could put parking meters in there if you're thinking, or if you want to put a permit parking stamp and that's having permitted to park there for times. That's certainly something that I guess could be done.
Just to control the parking over there.
Is there an issue?
No.
People use that, though, a lot of times use it for the baseball and people playing there right now.
They will park on Orchard, they'll park on the streets. Other than neighbors.
I think once we get a permanent use for our building over there and we do something like that, then we can say, hey, this is a borough parking lot, it's going to be used for borough purposes, and then we can do something like that. I'm not giving our parking lot away, certainly by any stretch, but for now, my thought is, why enforce, why do something that's going to, you know, they need to start thinking about what they may want to do with the parking lot, because parking is an issue, and they fill that lot up all the time during the day. They park on the street, it's an issue. Parking is a problem right there. There are definitely issues there.
Anywhere else you gotta go, like the city of Pittsburgh or other places, they have parking lots like that, you gotta pay the parking.
You don't have parking permits. Why not investigate the Trash Foundation right there and say, look, you know, it's being used a lot, we'd like the fact we'll lease you the parking lot for a nominal fee per month. Okay, there's a revenue source.
Then we're obligated with a contract with them. And what if we want to do something with our building and we have a contract now? Why give our parking away?
I'm saying lease it.
With a lease, you're sort of...
That's a contract.
You're giving it away, correct?
No, it's not giving it away. A lease is implied.
We can discuss it.
Revenue. So, solicitor can write up the contract very simply. It could have terms and conditions and outs and everything else in a fee.
Sure. Mr. Solicitor, somewhere down the road, because they've been using the parking lot, and say, all of a sudden now, we, as the Borough of Munhall, have a use for that parking lot. Did they claim past practice on this?
No.
No? No.
Okay. We could close it at any time.
Just curious, the tip fund, was that part of the approved?
No, actually, it was not, and that was, I made note of it, and then we zipped through everything. I made note, it made it into a different draft. So we had to close things off because there was no funds expended. We amended the agenda to...
Yeah. Make a motion to amend the agenda, vote it on and pass, then make a new motion.
So I need a motion to open up the voting for a motion to amend the agenda to a motion for the enterprise zone vote on approval of the expenditure from not from Munhall.
The first motion is to open up the agenda.
All right, so I need a motion for that.
Second.
Okay, so now I need a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. So now we need a motion. What motion do we want to make?
To approve the enterprise zone utilizing legacy tip funding to hire a full-time staff over the course not to exceed $250,000 over a 5-year period.
I need a motion for that. Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? So the motion passes unanimously.
That was just a thought there, Mr. President.
No, believe me, it's not the first time. You're talking about the parking lot?
Yeah.
I understand. I understand, and we certainly could sign a lease contract, and we could do all that. It's our pleasure. Any?
Just got a couple of notes for additional pieces that are at the end of your packets. Last week, council requested that draft a letter on behalf of council regarding the proposed expenditures for the new school building that is drafted for council review. I also have just some data on response times that Mr. Hanna had asking about, and the types of requests that we've had through our 311 system. That is 2 pages. After that is, for those who weren't at the finance meeting, is the finance committee report as well as the borough finances. And finally, at actually at 3:58 this afternoon, Mayor Paulson and I received an email from MAPS just describing what ended up being a very happy ending to a very unfortunate situation. An individual was having a heart attack. They were able to respond within 3 minutes. Did what they needed to do. They were able to transmit EKG information directly to the PMC. They were directed to bring the, once the patient was stabilized slightly, bring them directly to the hospital and directly up to the operating room. The entire incident appeared to have taken 68 minutes from the time that they were dispatched to the time the person was in the OR.
That's bad.
Yeah. So I think this was, you know, excellent work on their part, showing how they work with the hospital to get the best care possible for a Munhall resident.
For heroic majors, can I recommend that we maybe meet next month, we find out who these guys were and do a proclamation for them? Give Seth a little work to put a proclamation together. But it is pretty amazing. Because this is the first time I think I've ever seen anything that this has anything like this that he's wrote to us about. I've never seen this kind of correspondence. Usually it's just information, what they're, you know, how many calls they had and expenses.
We can do that, Mayor, if you'd like to do that. If you'd like to make a proclamation, you're certainly, would be very nice. They should be commended for their work, absolutely. I don't have an issue, Council. No, I think it's great. I think the more we can support our EMS and our firemen, our police, you know, our public works, the better.
Recognizing goes a long way sometimes.
Absolutely it does. And they need to know that they're recognized. So I think that would be very nice. Anything else, Seth?
That's all I have.
Anyone else, Council, have anything else they'd like to say? Nope. Okay, I need a motion. Motion. Second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Thank you for coming again.